In this video, I'm going to talk about how you as a projector can increase the likelihood that somebody might be able to hear your feedback or your guidance, your advice. And I'm going to do this by sharing a question that I actually received on one of my YouTube videos. Now, sometimes I have projectors. If you've ever had a projector who has like come along and given you unsolicited advice, whether you're a projector yourself or any other type, you'll know that it feels really gross. If you don't already like love, recognize, value that person, it if a projector comes along and just like gives you their great ideas, it often does not feel great in your body. But I had an interesting experience of somebody who's been following my work for a while here on the channel, and they had shared their appreciation and their recognition of my work, and their comments were very genuine and very grateful for the stuff that I had been teaching them. And in their comment, I actually talked about it in this video here, they had said, don't you feel like your work is so great? Like there's so much nuance to your knowledge around human design. Don't you ever feel bitter that your online presence isn't like much bigger? Because you deserve something that's much bigger than the following that you have. Like, don't you feel bitter about that? And they had gone on in that question very bravely to say, I am curious if you've ever used EFT, emotional freedom techniques. So that's one of the versions of tapping. That's the one I'm formally trained in, to work with your beliefs around being seen or like visibility. I know these are personal questions, so if you don't understand, don't answer them, I totally understand. So I want to break this down for you, projector. So there are three things in here I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about EFT. I'm going to talk about my genuine answer to that question because why not? But I want to start with the third one, and that is for you as a projector, what this person modeled so beautifully. This is a stranger. I've never met this person. I don't know who they are. I don't know their gender. I don't know where they live. I don't know how old they are. I don't know anything about them except for the fact that they recognize and value my work. And in their comment, after lavishing me with love to show that they really do appreciate my work, they asked a question with curiosity. Have you ever used EFT or tapping to work with any beliefs that you might have around being seen or visibility? Now, that's a really probing question. It's a very projector thing to do. Oh, hey, I see deeply into you and I see you could do this thing, right? And I see that if you did this, this would help you. They're right. It would help. I'm sure that I could do some tapping on being seen and visibility. It's in the very, very, very long list of things that I'm working through. And it's not a high priority compared to some of the other things that I've been working through, which somewhere down the track I might share with you. But for right now, they're way too vulnerable and personal to share. So it's on the list, but it's not a high priority. So it gets shifted, right? But back to the point of this projector had asked, and if you're a projector, and you really want to give somebody that you care and value and recognize their awesomeness, if you want to give them any kind of advice or feedback, if you ask with curiosity, like this person did, and non-attachment, like this person did, and you have already demonstrated to them, with this person, they did it with their words, that they value and recognize you. So you value and recognize that person you're giving feedback to. If you have those three elements, there is a much higher likelihood that that person might take on board your ideas or your advice. Because that's what we desperately want as projectors. We just want people to like take our guidance because we can see how we can help them, right? So if you want to increase the likelihood as you yourself as a projector, that somebody that you care about and you want to succeed in the world, that they will take on your advice, do it with curiosity, non-attachment, and make sure that you have really demonstrated to them that you recognize and value them. Because there's nothing worse than a projector poking without like showing that they care. It's a really, really vulnerable experience. Let's just go down this on this little tangent for a minute. If you're really new to human design and you're a projector, you may not know that the reason our aura type is called, our type is called projector, is that our aura, also known as an energy field or a biofield or an information field, it is the bubble of energy that our body sits within. The way our field works as projectors is it projects deeply into one person at a time, and that's really fucking vulnerable. It's vulnerable for you as the projector because you pick up huge amounts of information from that other person, good, bad, or otherwise, but it's also incredibly vulnerable for the other person. I like to think about it, and it's a very crude analogy, but it really stuck with me when I had this insight, right? Is like this is like penetrative sex. Would you have penetrative sex with somebody if you were the one who was able to penetrate? I know a lot of people watching this channel will be female, but if you could penetrate somebody else with your body, you would want to get their permission. You would want to know that they wanted you inside of them, right? And I know that that's quite graphic, but it's like, but now you'll remember it, right? It's really vulnerable. Having penetrative sex, if you're a person who has ever done that, as a giver or receiver, you will know is a very vulnerable experience. That's what we're doing as projectors. We get deeply up inside people. So they better fucking want us there, right? So whether you're a person who just wants to pop in a comment and ask a question and help somebody like me who's running a channel, or more often it will be that you as a projector are like, I want to help my best friend, my child, my spouse, my sibling, my business partner, my co-workers, whoever, right? If you can do it with curiosity, non-attachment, and show them that you care, show them that you recognize and value them, it's way more likely that they'll take your advice. But remember this piece I said on non-attachment. Say your piece and then let it go. Because if this person is attached to me taking their advice of tapping, like moving this being seen and visibility piece up my priority list, they're going to have a problem. It's going to cause them a degree of discomfort or suffering of like, I'm trying to help and Carolyn's not taking my advice. But what this person doesn't know is what's on my priority list, right? So that's what we have to do as projectors. We can't know everything about what's going on for the other person. We can offer suggestions if we do it the right way. And then we have to leave it with them because the person who's receiving knows all of this information about their own life. And I'm really grateful for this person because they're right. I can do some tapping on being seen and visibility. And it's probably moved higher up the priority list because they've brought my awareness to it. If you do nothing else, projector, you can really help people have a greater awareness of themselves, but make sure you do it the right way. Now, what I've just talked about is like somebody who had the audacity, let's use that word, and the courage to try and make a suggestion without an invitation. And if you're going to do that, this is the only way that I recommend doing it. The only way. Now, the last little point I wanted to make is they referenced EFT, and several years ago I did a training in EFT, emotional freedom techniques, and I'm really highly trained in it and very practiced, certified, and after doing a lot of that work, I realized that there are lots of limitations to that particular version of tapping, which is why over the years since then I have developed my own version of tapping that I've called trauma-informed tapping. It needed a name. Basically what it is a more nervous system aware, more trauma-informed, which means safe, effective, gentle way of using tapping, using any of the points that you like, to be able to work with the unfelt, the still stuck emotions and sensations that are in the body. So then once you know yourself better through human design, we can use tapping to love who you are and eventually become the person you were born to be.